So I want to preface this by saying a couple of things. Number one, if you happen to be new here, I have been reviewing every episode of Alien Earth since it premiered, and in the first half of the series, I had a lot of positive things to say about it. I thought there were a lot of great ideas on display here, and pretty much every single episode, I could find something positive to speak on. As far as the Alien franchise as a whole, I'm a massive fan. I have been since I was like 8 years old. First Alien movie I ever saw was Alien Resurrection. Somehow that just turned me onto the franchise more. The first film is one of my favorite all-time movies, and I am a massive fan of Prometheus and Covenant. So I think that one of the beautiful things about the Alien franchise is the variety to it. There are so many different rankings and favorites of the entire series that everyone usually universally agrees that Alien and Aliens are the best. And then after that, people's rankings are all over the place. Some people love the Alien versus Predator stuff. Some people love Alien 3. Some people love Prometheus and Covenant, like this guy. But whatever the case, I do like being able to have a franchise that has so many different avenues that you can travel down. There are some that are more focused on the science fiction aspects. There are some that are focused on straight up being a horror movie. Some that are way more action focused. Some that are more psychological. You got the Ripley storyline. So much variety. If you can count the video games, you got Alien Isolation. There is so much here to love. And I do want to say that no matter what, I will always love the Alien franchise with all of my heart and soul. Having said that, though, I do think that Alien Earth, the series, has massively fumbled the ball in the last two episodes. I said in my last review that that was my least favorite episode of the series so far. That has changed. Now, the season finale is my least favorite episode of the series so far and leaves a very sour taste in my mouth as far as the overall series, seeing where it ended up. Because, like I said, I think there was a lot of promise in the first half, in the first couple of episodes, of where things could potentially go. And there was a lot of setup here that really feels like they were hoping or maybe banking on getting a season 2, because this doesn't feel like a season finale. It feels like a midpoint episode. And considering it's only 8 episodes in, we used to have TV series that had 22 episodes per season. It doesn't feel like we're there yet. In fact, during the first half of this episode, nothing in it felt like a finale to me. I was like, how the hell are they going to wrap this up in the next 15 minutes? The answer to that is they don't. So here's my positive. My number one positive is that we finally get to see a confrontation between Kirsch and Morrow. So the episode begins and Prodigy has captured everybody, essentially. They have all of these synthetics in a cell by themselves, and then they also have Morrow and Hermit in a cell by themselves. They do manage to escape because Wendy is just an all-powerful god at this point. I'll get to that. But when Morrow gets out, he basically says, I'm going to burn this place to the ground. And I felt that. I resonated with that. He's been my favorite character for the entire series. And in fact, after watching this entire season, now that it's over, I kind of wish episode 5, which was the flashback episode of Morrow on the ship with the crew as the alien species were escaping before it crashed onto Earth, I kind of wish that was the entire show at this point. If that was an entire season, then maybe it led to the ending of the ship crashing on Earth, because I have been so invested in his storyline, the way that he has manipulated slightly, the way that he is so determined to basically destroy this place, burn it to the ground, like he said, and the acting performance as well. I've been on board with Morrow since day one, and I think they've done the best things with him. I think as far as the creativity of the show, of which I think there is a ton of, I really think this idea of this cyborg character that's kind of sold his soul, lost his daughter, is brought back to a time, 60 years after when he left the Earth. So nothing's the same to him anyway. Nothing matters except getting the job done. And so he's very, very proficient at it. And so there's always been this buildup between him and Kirsch, that these two were going to butt heads at some point. They do in this episode. They have a fight scene that was probably one of the more well-done fight scenes on this series, and had moments where you thought either character could potentially win. Kirsch does get his back broken, which was crazy to see, and then Morrow gets knocked out by Slightly and Smee and doesn't really get to finish the fight to begin with. But at least for that brief moment where the two of them fought each other, I was like, finally, this is happening. And it was a little bit cathartic to see them battle one another. We also get to see what the plant alien does, and that is something that we haven't seen thus far. There's been this kind of like cocoon plant alien that attaches itself to the ceiling we've seen since the first episode or second episode, and it's just been kind of hanging out the whole series. We finally get to see what it does. It's able to extend its leaves and like crawl on the wall, kind of like it looks like an octopus or something like that crawling against the wall. And it does kill one of the soldier characters, picks her up, squeezes her, basically probably absorbing all of her nutrients as she blasts whatever she has left in her gun as she's being devoured. So it was cathartic again to see that alien finally do something. However, everything else in the episode disappointed me and bummed me out. And I didn't plan for this to be a rant video. You know, I have not been somebody that's been hating on this series just to hate it. And I do want to praise the positive aspects of it, because I think the idea of having these synthetics that kind of copy the persona of somebody and can keep them living forever is a terrifying yet ingenious idea, and something that like a giant half the world owning corporation would probably eventually do and be set to sell. And the fact that they would experiment on children to do it with, children that people believe are going to be dead or were dying or have some kind of cancer or illness to begin with, and just the complete lack of empathy being able to do that, and then right off the bat use them for some experimental mission, sending them perhaps to their doom to test the capabilities of those synthetics. All of that is very disturbing and messed up, and I do like that kind of shit. You know, like that's the kind of crazy sci-fi thought-provoking stuff that I enjoy, like, you know, the complete lack of morality with this situation and the test subjects that were used. And like I've been saying from the beginning, I really do love the set design, the costumes, the makeup, the special effects, the practical effects. All of that has been great. So I have been praising the show for the most part, all the way through up until the last couple of episodes. But the finale here is kind of unforgivable, so let's get right into it. So as all the synthetics are gathered together and they're in sort of this holding cell, Wendy is able to rally the team, and they all decide that they're going to fight back together. They have been the ones that have been manipulated, mind wiped, and told what to do this entire time, and now we're not gonna take it anymore, we're gonna rise up and fight back. That's perfectly fine. That part I get. I'm on board with. I understand. Also great to see Nibs was still alive. So that was cool. But the problem for me became just how insanely powerful Wendy is, to the point where there is just nothing that can stop her in this episode. And because of that, you put the alien, the xenomorph, what the show is named after, kind of on the back burner. And they do something that I said from the very beginning, I hope they don't go in this direction. And they eventually did. And that is having Wendy not only be able to communicate with the xenomorphs, but be able to control and command them. I don't like that idea, simply because I do view the xenomorphs on some kind of pedestal of they should not be subservient to humans or synthetics or cyborgs or anything. They should be something beyond our control, beyond our understanding, beyond anything we could hope to contain or tame or, communicate with or anything like that. The thing that I appreciate about every alien movie is how intelligent they make the xenomorphs, and how the xenomorphs are able to outsmart humans on particular occasions, or how they're adaptable and that they can learn. They learn what the machine gun fire does in Aliens, and they choose a different route, or in Alien Resurrection, where they're able to kill one of their own to escape and then use the freezing spray button on the scientist that was using it on them. Every single alien movie showcases just how smart these creatures are. And yes, they do sort of have a hive mind like connectivity between them, but I don't want that to be shifted into a human or a synthetic or any kind of humanoid like character being able to tap into that and control them. To me, that takes away the fear, the terror, the unpredictability, and the intelligence of the xenomorphs themselves. Even if she is speaking their language, I hate the idea that the xenomorph wouldn't be intelligent enough to see that she's obviously not a xenomorph, and therefore be subservient to her. I don't like how in the final episode of Alien Earth, instead of the alien xenomorph being the ultimate threat, it is just a pet to Wendy. It is just an animal to be controlled. It is just something that says, hey, go attack these people for me. Hey, go over here and do this. Now just sit there and wait. Like, yes, good dog, good boy, have a treat. Like, I hate that. I hate that idea for the xenomorph. Do it to any of the other aliens. Any of the other aliens in the show. Fucking do it to the eyeball alien. Do it to Teocellus. Do it to any of the others. I just hate doing it to the xenomorph. I hate taking the terror and fear and intelligence away from them. At the end of the day, this is a series based on Alien, and yeah, you can do a lot of things in the Alien universe. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Prometheus, which doesn't even really feature anything xenomorph related other than the mural on the wall and like the deacon at the end, right? But like, that was a story that was sold as a story that's going to be in the universe, but not focused on the xenomorph. When you have Alien in the title, I feel like the alien should be the most important element, and so that let me down massively. I was hoping she would lose control, or the other xenomorph would get out, or they'd team up. Like, I just hate that idea. And if that's a barrier for me and it's not for somebody else, like I said, one of the beauties of the Alien franchise is that there's so much variety to it. There's an Alien movie for everybody. And if that's something you want to see, if that's something you've been waiting for, or something you thought was a cool idea, I can understand you liking the series a lot more. But for me, it was something that in the first 2-3 episodes they hinted at, and I said back then, I was like, I just hope they don't go in that direction. And unfortunately they did, and I got to stick by my opinion, and I hate that direction. But it's not that Wendy can just control the alien. She can control anything and everything here. She can tap into the system of Prodigy. She's able to open all of the cell doors, let everybody out, let Morrow out, let her brother out. Cavalier comes to talk to them, and then I do like the way that she tricked him. Basically, he's there giving them this monologue about how he built a synthetic when he was a kid and used it to kill his father and used it as an adult figure to build his business, which was the hold on, let me look up his name, which was Adam Ames. He was like the large bald man, always in the suit and tie, always getting Cavalier's back. So he was a surprise android the entire time, which was a cool idea until so I like the way that she tricked him, and I like the way that she swung open the door when he was right there and he had to run away, finally seeing Cavalier, on the receiving end of all the torment that he's given people. But then, of course, they botch it again. But they do two things in a row that pissed me off beyond the xenomorph thing. The first thing is, okay, the Teocellus, the eyeball alien. How long have we been waiting for this creature to finally give us a show, to finally showcase what it can do to the fullest extent when it's in a human body, if it's going to communicate? They have been teasing the idea of the Teocellus communicating since the flashback episode, since Cavalier was talking about it, since they've had it in the same holding container the last 2 episodes in a row, building to the idea. Cavalier's like, who should I sacrifice? He's thinking about his guard. He's thinking about somebody else. It's going to happen. And then Hermit walks into the room. Adam, the synthetic, brings him into the room, locks the door, and the Teocellus attacks. And again, I said this in the first couple episodes too. I was like, Hermit has a lot of plot armor here because he survived this xenomorph attack so easily. And I feel like if he survives the entire show, that's going to annoy me. And he survived the entire show. I thought this was the perfect moment. I was like, this is the moment. The Teocellus is there. It's going to get in Wendy's brother. It's going to fuck Wendy up psychologically when she sees him. That's when she's going to lose control of the xenomorph. Everything's going to go to hell. Everything's on track. Yes, let's do this. And it doesn't happen. And the Teocellus tries to get in him, and then Wendy shows up and kicks it away. I'm like, son of a bitch. I was rooting for the Teocellus, man. I was like, come on, it's time. And then Adam reveals himself to be the android that Cavalier built when he was a kid, the one that killed his father, and he starts fighting Wendy, and I'm like, oh shit, like now it's gonna go down. This was a good surprise twist. Let's go. And Wendy doesn't even fight him. She just taps into his whatever, his CPU, I don't know, his microchips, I don't fucking know. She taps into his mind and just freezes him. He goes to throw a punch and he freezes. And she's like, oh yeah, he's connected to the Prodigy, mainframe or whatever, so I can just control him. Bro, I wouldn't have cared if she beat him in a fight. I just hated that cop-out. Like, let's see the fight go down. Let's see, apparently this guy has been around and he's been a synthetic ever since Cavalier was a little kid. Like, I imagine he's got some resources in there. You know, if this guy is being treated as a substitute parental figure, if he's the one responsible for getting this business going, if he's been around this long, he's got to be smart, he's got to be skilled, he's got to be capable, he's got to have some hidden firepower on him somewhere. And Wendy's just like, nope, you're stopped. So what happens to the TSLS, the eyeball alien? Well, it escapes the room and it doesn't get into anybody else until it winds up on the beach and it gets into the dead body of Arthur. Arthur sits up and that's the last we see of it. That's it. That's all the TSLS does in this episode. Comes out of the sheep, tries to get in Hermit, Wendy kicks it away, and then it goes on the beach and gets in a dead body. It doesn't speak, it doesn't attack. I mean, other than trying to get into Hermit. It doesn't attack while in the body, doesn't speak while in the body, doesn't do a damn thing. Doesn't do a goddamn thing. All of that hype, all of that buildup, all the memes, all of the greatness, all of the Godsmack, keep away, slow zoom in, and nothing. So basically, Wendy and the other synthetics are able to capture everybody. They got Cavalier, they got Morrow, they got Kirsch, they got Sylvia. They got them all in the same holding cell that they were in. And they have Wendy's controlling the two xenomorphs, the full-grown one and the one that burst out of Arthur's chest, and the last one that's getting like, it's like halfway there, halfway grown. She basically just is about to sick them on them. You know, it cuts away before we see it, and she takes over the island. And that is how it ends. So Prodigy's still there. The synthetics are still there. All the alien species are still there. Yutani herself is on the way with a bunch of other ships to the island. And then it ends. And then it just ends. It just ends on that cliffhanger. So I can only imagine the reason it does is because they were planning on getting a season 2. Because if this is the end, like if this is the end and it doesn't pick up for a season 2, what does this even mean? You know, this can't be canon to the series anymore unless, you know, they follow it up in like a comic or a novel or something like that, because like these aliens can't be on Earth and they definitely can't get in the hands of Yutani. That's the whole reason Nostromo goes to pick up this, pick up the specimen, or that they go back to LV-426 and aliens. Like Weyland-Yutani needs the creature. You know, even in Alien Romulus, they didn't get it the way that they wanted to. So like, it can't just be there. It can't just stick around. Like, they got to get rid of it somehow. It's got to die, or the island's got to blow up. I don't know what's got to happen, but like, it wouldn't make sense if they want to consider this in canon for it to be there. So like, I don't know what they're going to do with it. And all the synthetics are still there. And once again, you know, continuity wise, they've never talked about the idea of somebody's consciousness or whatever, you know, transferred into the body of a synthetic. So that has to go away. So I can't imagine this is where they actually wanted to end it. And if they did end it with intention of getting a season 2 in a cliffhanger like this, I feel like there's so much undone. Like, I feel like if you're making a season 1 and you don't know if you're going to get a season 2, I feel like the ending has to be like a little bit more finite, like a little bit more satisfying. This just feels like a cliffhanger for like a mid-season episode. It feels like we should have 5 or 6 more episodes. It doesn't feel like a finale at all. And I don't know if it's going to get picked up for a season 2, but if it doesn't, then that makes the ending of this 10 times more of a disappointment. I was also always bummed out that Kirsch didn't have a little bit more going on because he was such a great character. Timothy Olyphant, I love him. He seemed like he had so much up his sleeve and so much that he wasn't revealing to the audience. But at the end of the day, he really was just working for Prodigy all along. So I didn't feel like he lived up to his potential. And the only shocking death really was Arthur. And even him, I mean, he definitely was one of the more expendable characters. Like, if they had committed to killing Hermit or killing Cavalier in this episode, which it seems like they do. I mean, it's not shown, but I would assume that everybody in that holding cell is probably about to die. So I guess, okay, we'll go with that. But even so, you know, you have all those synthetics still there. And I really didn't think any of them were making it out of the series. To be honest, I really thought it was going to be, I thought all of Prodigy was maybe going to go up in flames. You know, you have this event where all of these alien species are unleashed, and we finally get to see the plant creature do something, which was cool, but we didn't see the flies. The xenomorphs just only do what Wendy tells them in this episode. The Teocellus was a disappointment. We don't see the ticks again. Wasn't there 5? Was there a 5th alien species? I mean, I'd hate to say it because in the beginning of the series, I loved the idea of seeing different alien species so much. But considering now, having seen every episode, knowing what we got, I kind of wish they just focused on the alien. You know, I'd hate to lose Teocellus because it's so cool. But, you know, with what they did with the xenomorph, it just wasn't enough. So yeah, overall, guys, looking at the series as a whole now, basically what I can say for me personally, and everyone's going to have a different opinion, like I said, and that's the beauty of the Alien franchise, is that there's so much variety. Everybody can have different favorites, right? For me, this is not going to be as high up as I wanted to rank it. I'll probably do an updated Alien ranking at some point. It was one of those that had me in the first half. I love the idea of the multiple alien species. I love the episode on the ship with Morrow before it crashed. Morrow's my favorite character of the whole show. I loved episode 2 and the xenomorph wreaking havoc on everybody inside of the building where the ship crashed, and discovering the ticks and discovering the Teocellus. All of that was awesome. But I think after that flashback episode, when it returned, it started to go downhill. And the last 2 episodes I thought were pretty disappointing overall. And I hate that. I really wanted to love it more. I was so excited for this show, and I wanted the finale to really bring it back around for me. But it didn't. It just didn't. I think what this tells me the most, though, is what we really need in the Alien franchise is the 3rd movie in the prequel trilogy. God damn it. Ridley Scott, finish the David storyline. Bring us up to Alien. Tell us what happened to the Covenant. That's what I want. All right. And I'm curious to hear what your opinions are down below. And I'd like to hear everyone's opinion. So if you loved the final episode, if you love this finale, you know, don't feel shy. Like, I really want you to tell me what you loved about it. I like seeing different opinions. And as much as the internet seems to be focused on nothing but argument, sometimes you can actually just have like a conversation about different opinions. That is possible. I know it's crazy. It's crazy. In the year 2025 on YouTube, having a rational conversation about something that some people love and some people hate. Oh my God. It can happen though. So let's make it happen. Tell me why you loved it. Tell me why you loved it. And you guys were disappointed by it by me, like I was. Tell me, were you disappointed by the same things I was disappointed by, or did you dislike other things about it too? Yeah, let me know all that down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. Please give the video a like and a comment. Help it out in the algorithm. YouTube's not doing so great right now. I've had a pretty poor year, actually, in general, doing YouTube. So any view, any like, any comment, if you guys want to help on a deeper level, I have Patreon channel memberships. Even $1 a month goes a long way, guys. You have no idea. I could really, really use the help right now. But other than that, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you next time.